Hi, welcome to AP Daily, topic 5.9, Government Policies in the Civil War. Today in this video, we will examine how Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War impacted American ideals over the course of the war. My name's Dan Chung. I'm the AP US History teacher over at Hightstown High School in Hightstown, New Jersey. What will we learn today? Key concepts will be Lincoln's decision to issue the Emancipation Proclamation reframes the purpose of the war and will help prevent the Confederacy from gaining full diplomatic support from European powers. Lincoln sought to reunify the country and used speeches such as the Gettysburg Address to portray the struggle against slavery as the fulfillment of America's founding democratic ideals. Some context for the Emancipation Proclamation. Sectionalism before the Civil War forces Americans to have an opinion about the issue of slavery. As a direct result of the election of 1860, the South is going to secede from the Union, and what many thought was going to be a short war will turn out to be a long war. So the way we're going to break down the Emancipation Proclamation is through describing it, talking about significance, and then addressing some of the critics that Lincoln had. So the Emancipation Proclamation is issued following a crucial Union victory at the Battle of Antietam. It goes into effect January of 1863, and unlike other speeches that tend to invoke emotion among audiences, the Emancipation Proclamation is going to sound more of like a legal document. It is going to declare freedom for the enslaved and rebellious states. However, it is not going to free any enslaved people. As the American pageant will call it, it is a proclamation without emancipation. And interestingly enough, where the Declaration could have freed enslaved individuals in the border states, it did not apply to those areas. Remember, border states are slave states that did not secede the Union. So the significance of the Emancipation Proclamation is that this is going to shift the purpose of the war to abolishing slavery. It is going to act as a rally cry for abolitionists and enslaved. Some freed and enslaved African Americans will join the military and segregated units. And arguably the most important result of the Emancipation Proclamation is that it is going to keep Europe out of the war, specifically Great Britain and France. And a lot of it is going to have to do with their opposition to slavery. Examining some of Lincoln's critics, some might say that he emancipated not for abolitionism, but for the Union. Some might even say that he was late to the party. But to come to Lincoln's defense, he was pro-emancipation. He did propose a buyout plan for border states at the start of the war, but the border states did not bite. Lincoln's biggest concern was his uncertainty about the constitutional right to emancipate. He felt as though if he had overstepped his bounds and things went to the Supreme Court, people like Chief Justice Taney would rule in similar fashion as he did for the Dred Scott decision. The North has suffered a string of losses and needed a win before this could be issued. And so although some might see this as late, Lincoln was really waiting for the right time, which was following the Battle of Antietam. Now to the Gettysburg Address. Some context for this particular speech. We're 2 years into the Civil War. General Robert E. Lee is leading a campaign through the North. And July of 1863 marks the Battle of Gettysburg. This will be the most casualties of any battle of the Civil War, and it's going to be considered a Union victory because it stops the Confederates' invasion of the North. Describing the Gettysburg Address, it is Lincoln's dedication to a military cemetery at Gettysburg. He is speaking to both North and South. He uses words like nation rather than union. And really what he's doing here is he's bridging the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and that preservation of the Union demands an end to slavery. He's also making the Civil War a test of democracy. In a very literal sense, does it work? America is a political experiment. It had declared its independence from Great Britain, and many around the world are likely watching to see if they are able to overcome this civil disunion. The significance of the Gettysburg Address is that this is going to be a gut check for both sides. Lincoln is going to call for Americans to revise their conception of democracy and pursue a new multiracial vision of liberty. And this will ultimately plant the seed and pave the way for the 14th and 15th Amendment. So let's practice. So in other videos, instructors had gone over this HIP strategy for deconstructing sources. This could be useful for documents found in the DBQ, but it could also be useful for short answer questions as well as multiple choice questions. For today's purpose, we're going to focus on the purpose of the Emancipation Proclamation. What this document will do is it'll change the goal of the Civil War, which will be not only to preserve the Union, but doing that through an end of slavery. So here's a sample multiple choice question. When the Emancipation Proclamation was issued at the beginning of 1863, its immediate effect was to review the selections and see what you come up with. If you answered B, then you're correct. Lincoln and most Union supporters began the Civil War to preserve the Union, but Lincoln's decision to issue the Emancipation Proclamation reframes the purpose of the war and helped prevent the Confederacy from gaining full diplomatic support from Europe. So what should we take away? So Lincoln's leadership is going to consist of foresight and timing. Preserving the Union, according to the Emancipation Proclamation, will mean the end of slavery. The Gettysburg Address is going to propose a reinvention or rebirth of the American identity and democracy. Well, that's it for 5.9. Come back and let us help you out with topic 5.10, Reconstruction. Best of luck with your studies, and thanks for watching.